So when there's new and returning players to Diablo 2 Resurrected, there's some tricks that veterans do that new people may not know about, and these can totally help out either your playthrough on a ladder reset or anytime you're just playing through the game in general. And I'm bringing you 6 of them today. So you can see I have no mercenary, but what I would like is an Act 2 mercenary with an insight. Now it's best to just make it in any polearm as fast as you can, but eventually you want to have it in one of those elite polearms so you can deal out more damage with your mercenary. If he deals more damage, that means he leeches back more life, so it actually can keep him surviving longer the more damage output that your mercenary has. So you eventually want to get an elite polearm base and then eventually an ethereal elite polearm base, but it's so hard to get them with 4 open sockets. The reason for that is if you bring an elite polearm over to Larzik, generally you're not going to get 4 open sockets. There is the Colossus Volge, which you will get 4 open sockets in if you Larzik it here, but it has such a high strength requirement, it is not preferred to go ahead and use that. If you have a non-ethereal CV, I think you have to be something like level 93 or 94 in order for your mercenary to go ahead and wield that, unless you get strength from your gear somewhere, because it requires like 210, something like that, strength. All the rest of the elite polearms are going to get 5 or more open sockets, which would make it essentially worthless. But what you can do is utilize this Herodric cube recipe right here, and it's not guaranteed. You don't know how many sockets you're going to get, but it randomly chooses between 1 and 6 sockets when you use this particular recipe, and you're going to cross your fingers and hope you get that 1 in 6 chance to go ahead and get 4 open sockets. It doesn't work for me every season. Sometimes I'll end up finding one with 4 open sockets before I end up rolling one. But I would say at least half the time, if not more, I end up finding one that has no open sockets in it using the socket recipe, and bang, I get lucky, get 4 open sockets. And even if you don't need one to use on your mercenary, if you get an ethereal like Thresher perhaps that rolls 4 open sockets, those actually have great trade value at the beginning of a ladder, so you can go ahead and trade that for some gear pieces or runes that you need to make your build way more powerful. Next up is a trick to get past these guys right here at Ariat's Summit. And no, I'm not talking about the website that tells you all about the game, but that's getting rid of the Ancients. Now this trick does only work if you're some sort of ranged character. If you got to get up close and personal, it's not going to work too well. But what you can do is right here, you can actually make an invisible wall that traps them behind it, and they get stuck and they don't move around. They just sit up against it, and you can take them out from a distance. Now the way you do it, go ahead and spawn the Ancients, come over between here, and when the guy leaps through the air, pop a portal when he's up in the air. What that does is it causes an instance of him or something, I don't know the proper way to word it, but there's an invisible box or a circle here that nobody can walk through anymore, because he jumped up and it leaves that spot open for where he's going to land, but he never lands. So what you need to do is go ahead and do enough of them until eventually they cannot walk through here at all anymore. So there we have 2, and it looks like I'm pretty dang close to getting it capped out, huh? This time he did not jump, unfortunately. So let me go ahead and respawn them. All right, it's looking like we can't walk through here anymore. And this is exactly what you're looking for. Now nobody can walk through here, and all you need to do is go ahead and lure the Ancients over this way behind the wall. You can teleport through that wall with a telestaff, or if you're sorceress, you teleport, and there they are. They're stuck over here, and they cannot move. Now what you do is you could drop down Hydras right here. You go ahead and shoot a bow, throw javelins, dropping your fist to the heavens on their heads. You can just attack, attack, attack. Doesn't matter how long it takes. They will never move if you stay far enough back to where they can see you, but they can't like lock on to attack you. Unfortunately, if you're maybe something like I am right here, Nova Sorceress, this isn't going to help out too much with this particular build. Maybe a Barbarian, unless you're a throw bar by completely crazy chance. But for many builds in this game, you can lock the Ancients up there and take them out with ease. Next up, if you don't know, the Spirit Sword is insanely powerful for its rune cost, really for almost any caster in the game. You want to get your hands on one of these as soon as possible, makes your playthrough even better, and you're going to use it all the way till the later game till you start getting high runes and using things like Heart of the Oak. Now, if you can find a 4-socketed crystal sword along the way, absolutely use it, or even a 4-socketed longsword or broadsword. You may have to put a point or 2 into dexterity to go ahead and wear them, but hey, Spirit Sword is well worth the sacrifice. But what if you can't find one of these 4-socketed swords early on? There's a guaranteed way to get one, and that is through normal difficulty cows. Most people like the Crystal Sword because it has the lowest requirements. You usually don't have to put any extra points into anything, and you go ahead and just can equip it on pretty much any character. So you go out here and can slaughter cows. There's great density. And like I said, if you find a crystal sword out here and Larzik it, you will get 4 open sockets, but don't grab one from hell difficulty or nightmare difficulty or anything like that and take it to Larzik, because you could get up to 6 sockets in a crystal sword. One thing that I kind of just learned recently, I don't know how it went overlooked by me to be honest, but actually a broadsword and longsword, their maximum sockets is actually 4. So essentially anywhere past normal, so anywhere in nightmare and hell, any broad or longsword, if you Larzik it, will get 4 open sockets. Well, one cow run down, didn't find a crystal sword in that first cow run, but I did find both a broadsword and a longsword, so you can see the requirements here. 39 dex, 55 to strength there, or this one, the broadsword, just 48 to strength. So here's your other choices, and remember, from anywhere past this nightmare on, every longsword and broadsword, if you Larzik it, will get 4 open sockets. But just for proof of concept, broadsword, add sockets, and bang, we got 4, and we can go ahead and, once we find the runes, make our spirit sword. Next up is utilizing some charges here. And this one's going to be one to actually increase your damage output for any of the elemental casters. And that is, go ahead and get yourself a lower res wand. Now, Phil, it's going to be hard to find one of these, right? Well, no, it's not, because you can actually buy these straight from vendors if you look for just a minute or two. One of my favorite spots is to come over here to Dragnon, and you go ahead and look through here. That one had sacrifice charges. I'm not the fastest shopper, so bear with me here. But you want to specifically look for lower res charges, not the lower res skill. We don't have none there. Now, in order to reset him, what you do is, whoops, there's not a door here. What you want to do is find one where the exit's right here, and you can run in and out real quick, come over, trade, and look through here. Make sure there's nobody else in the game, because that can make it more wonky to where it won't reset sometimes. See, unfortunately, this one has lower res on the skill. But we'll keep looking down here. Confuse charges. Reset it again. And do this for a few minutes. Eventually, you can find yourself one. And there we go, right up above my bald head. Lower res charges, but do note the cost here. This one's 300,000. It can vary widely on how much it costs. So make sure you have several 100,000 gold when you come over here, in case you accidentally get something like a couple of bone spirit skills on there, which actually raises the price a ton. Now, when would you use these lower res charge? You don't use it on every monster, but what you do use it on is things like the act bosses when you're farming Andy and Mephisto, or even if there's some sort of champion that you're having struggles taking out. You can go ahead and, boom, drop the lower res on, and Daryl perhaps. We can go ahead and static her down, and that's going to increase the amount of damage we do to her for sure. Now, Nova, not the best boss killer, but man, it would be so much slower if we didn't have that lower res. But now that we do have lower res, way easier. Next up, what if we're not a sorceress and we want to be able to teleport? Maybe we just want to jump past this pack real quick. Maybe we want to teleport backwards to pull our mercenary out of danger, but we can't do it. We actually have a solution for that, and no, it's not Enigma. Actually, super early on, even on the playthrough, you can shop yourself a teleport staff, and you actually do it the same way you do for the lower res. Go ahead and check Dragnon here, and there's going to be other options for both the lower res and for the teleport staff, but this is the easiest way to go ahead and do it, in my opinion. But like I said, it's a teleport staff, not a teleport wand. So you want to go over here, and once again, you want to look for teleport charges on the staffs, not the teleport skill. Also important to note, once again, make sure you have a ton of gold. Anything that ends up with skills on it, even this, just having one energy shield's almost 100k. But if you have one that's one to gold masteries, one to Hydra, and has your teleport charges on it, 233,000. So once again, you're going to want to have a lot of gold on hand. And you just go ahead and run out, wait till the name changes at the top, run back in, and it should reset. Once again, noting, just do it by yourself in a game. Sometimes it gets a little wonky if there's people in the game and it just won't reset for you.
20 minutes later.
Now, this took much longer than it does usually, probably because this character is actually higher level than what I would usually shop at 75. And really, if you're a higher level, the item level in the shop is based on your character level. So there's a larger pool of stuff that can roll on the item, giving it less of a chance that the teleport can roll. The earliest you can actually shop these is Act 3 of normal difficulty from Ormus. So make sure you're not trying to shop these from normal difficulty Dragnon right here. If you do this method of shopping, it's got to be at least Nightmare Dragnon. But any of the vendors that sell staffs can sell a teleport staff, but there is just that little bit of cap on getting teleport of Act 3 of normal. But now we can go ahead and purchase that up. Go ahead and throw her on. And now, go ahead and teleport past any of these monsters, whoop, whoop, that we don't want to fight or to jump walls. Next up, if you're playing a ladder reset or you're playing a playthrough online with a group of other people, Coordinate your party so that your characters can work together to have the easiest chance of playing through the game. The easier it is, the faster you can play through, the faster you can get to the end game where you can actually farm up those high runes and those godly unique items. Now, what exactly do I mean by that? Well, do you want to hop into a game where everybody just picks their own build and maybe you end up in a game with 8 Blizzard sorceresses? Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe that's just what you want to do just for fun. You'll figure it out along the way. But a very fun thing to do, in my opinion, too, is wreck everything by having all your builds work together, almost like your builds synergize with each other. The reason I'm running out here with the Barbarian is, hey, I'm actually not going to kill any monsters, but I talked about this one in a recent video. I'm actually max leap. Yeah, I have a level 20 leap, and that only costs like 2 mana to go ahead and use. But you see, you do these incredibly small jumps, and you stun everything in the entire map. At the meantime, even though I'm not really doing a whole lot myself, I am stunning everything. I'm not killing anything, but my team can be laying waste to all the packs around. Maybe you got a Fist of the Heavens Paladin who's rocking like a maxed out Conviction, then your Blizzard Sorceress, maybe you have a Nova Sorceress, you have a perhaps even something crazy somebody wanted to play a Fire Druid through. All those elemental attacks with the go ahead and have Conviction, or like you have Infinity right now on the playthrough. So having all your builds kind of synergize with each other, work together, can make the playthrough way easier. And this is one thing that I feel a lot of newer players don't necessarily do. Like I said, you don't have to do whatever you want to for your own fun, but it can make the playthrough so much more enjoyable. Any veterans watching this, let us know down in the comments any other tricks you think newer players might need to know about when they're doing a ladder reset. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe up before you go, and check out this video right up over here. I know you're gonna like it. Peace out and keep slaying.